pneumonia several times, but I think injuries are taking their toll on his body now. But, a very fit man for his age.
How old is he?
He'd be 42, I would say. And what he lacks in speed, he makes up for with enthusiasm, and very rarely is not up with the play. Mr. McCauley still has a bit of a leg on him. Well, that taken care of, we're now see the kickoff. Apparently, the result of the toss, UNB is going to kick off. The ball must travel the 10 meters, and then the game will be on. The kickoff is a very important part of the rugby match. It sets the tone. You know, the forwards try to impose a little dominance on their opposite number. And the first collision can sometimes be telling. And the game is off. Well, a good rush by the UNB forwards.
The UNB team seems to be a little bit outweighed in the front men.
Looks maybe deceptive. I know St. John has a very solid front row, and I know against the current students, I saw them play last Wednesday evening. They were definitely pushing the current UNB guys around the field. We'll see. There'll be a scrum here shortly. I'm sure we'll see how that turns out.
And here we go.
And here we go. In the same way, the first kickoff is important. The first scrummage is doubly important. The front rows are kind of intimately connected there, as you will see in a second. And it's a lot of possibly, you know, wanted to gain the upper hand, and it's important for the team to weather this first scrummage. I see a good heave from the UNB guys.
I think the telltale for this game will be the rucking and the mauling.
Indeed, well, especially now with the rule changes that are in effect. In the olden days, the big heavy packs of forwards were, you know, the forte. Now there's a little more emphasis on open field running and keeping the ball moving around.
And ripping, and the UNB or the Trojans are actually very good rippers of the ball. Keep the ball alive.
Indeed. So and now we have our first line out of the match. This has gained in prominence, and I think a little more since the rule changes that are in effect now. And it's UNB's throw in. The ball must go in between the two rows of players. And there's a knock on there, and the standoff, the play will be brought back.
Yeah, that Peter O'Flaherty, he's really tough to hit. He's an elusive back, and he should cause some problems for the Trojans.
Has he come over from Newfoundland for the match?
Yeah, he has, all the way.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have him.
Okay, and I'd seen St. John during the week doing this particular move where they picked up from the base of the scrum and tried to establish a new platform. Apparently the UNB back row were aware of what might happen and were up quickly. Our St. John are coming strongly now on the left wing.
That was a nice tackle on the outside.
And indeed, aggression definitely has its place in rugby football as long as it's controlled and discipline is in effect. You must have discipline on your team, otherwise things will go to pieces rather quickly.
And I think you'll find with both of these teams, they do play disciplined rugby, just hard rugby.
A very good push from the UNB pack. The ball is coming out, but they're having to step backwards. It makes life very difficult for the backs behind the scrum to be having to backpedal and then try and gain some forward momentum. It unbalances you rather badly. We have a particularly good view of this line out. You'll see a play now coming from St. John.
Another man we'll have to watch closely is number 8 for the Trojans. He's got a really good drop kick. Can put it through from about 40 yards.
Well, that line-out was won rather cleanly by St. John. They've progressed into the center of field, trying to set up a new platform, but they've lost the ball. A kick from the number 8 might have been better served to run the ball. However, rugby is an individual sport. I mean, everyone is free to do whatever they want to do at any time. It's a game with a lot less input from the sideline than perhaps some sports the viewers might be used to seeing. Another fine push from the UNB. Ball's picked by the number 8 and clear to touch. There I saw a couple of arms on shoulders. I think the referee might have spotted the same thing, and he's awarded a kick to the Trojans. They decided to take a quick one and run it. It may have been a bad choice. Andy Duplessis was up very quickly there, and he's taken the ball actually out of the arms of the defender, and UNB are now in a commanding spot. I see the referee has spotted, I think, a little bit of sealing of the ball by a Trojan. It was obvious to me here in the stands, and he was right on the spot. I think we may well see some points on the board now.
Yep. Right now, it's really the game's being controlled by the packs. They're not too willing to spin it out, pushing each other around a little bit.
The feeling out process, usually it may not take a full half of rugby, but sometimes it does, especially if they're well matched.
I suspect it'll take some time for the UNB returning team here to get together themselves. They've only had one practice together.
That's correct, yeah. Some of these players have played together in various capacities on rugby tours down to the United States or on other representative sides. But a team of individuals will never really have the advantage over a team who plays together every day and practices 2 or 3 times a week. The kick was up and was good.
That was Dave Duffy who completed
Dave Duffy, indeed, the outside centre, who slotted that one through. Short kick is in order to let your forwards have a chance to recover the ball. They're up. St. John was well underneath that ball, and I think got the advantage. They indeed did. Back to 22 again, and another clearing kick, which is screwed off into the midfield. It's being returned by Peter Flaherty, and it's a little sloppy right now. The ball's come out to the UNB side. They're trying to tidy it up, and it's come out of the maul. Oh, nice move by the standoff. Dave Hitchcock. He's being ably supported by Andy Duplessis, bundled into touch inside the 22. The crowd is starting to appreciate the rugby and they're getting a little more vocal. It looked like it might have resulted in a try just before the half, but they got out of it. A solid push by UNB. It's a ball against the head. I think it's the first one that I've seen. It's a rather embarrassing moment for the prop forwards. I'm afraid they don't like to be losing their own put in. But, even the friendly games, nobody wants to lose.
Oh boy!
We had a bit of miscommunication there in the UNB backs, and I think it's going to result in a try, and it certainly has. UNB fullback committed himself, and that at that juncture would have resulted in UNB going in 6-5 ahead.
And here's a sure try.
Well, that was a scramble, and I'd say a little bit against the run of play. However, bad handling by the Trojans resulted in the ball being scuffled over the line and fallen on by UNB.
Yes, UNB had good support there. And got a little bit lucky.
It was fortunate. I won't say it wasn't fortunate. The conversion attempt will be taken by Dave Duffy. He's obviously feeling better, and which will be worth 2 points if he gets it.
Again, this is from that very makeable position.
Indeed, it is a makeable kick. Nice left to right kick. He's a right-footed kicker, and it curls in nicely. And that results in a score of 10 points to the UNB former selects and 5 points to St. John, with half-time coming upon us, I would say, very, very quickly. The ball hasn't been cleared to touch. It was well taken on the sideline. Derek Snow has the ball. He slips it inside to Duffy, but they're out of bounds. The referee is looking at his watch. I think half-time will be very, very soon.
And the wing, Ian Johnston there made a very good catch.
Dave Duffy right wing. And immediately St. John have obviously talked to themselves at half-time and decided to come out with a fresh attitude, showing a lot of spirit and some good incisive running.
Well, through experience, I know that the Trojans do play a much stronger second half than the first half. And they've also...
The kick is up and the kick is good. St. John have whittled away a little bit. The score is now 10 points to UNB, 8 points to St. John. Cleanly healed, it's back to the base of the scrum. Flaherty has it out, standoff takes. Miss move in the center out to Ian Wilson. A very nice pass, it's a foot race for the corner. And as a result of the kick after being taken opposite the point of the touchdown, the winger, Kevin Gallant, declined to touchdown immediately and tried to bring it more into the center of the field for quite a spectacular try, I would say.
Yeah, very good try. Showed some good speed.
Five more points on the board at the moment for UNB. It's currently 15 points to 8 with the 2-point conversion yet to come. Dave Duffy is again called on to attempt the conversion. He places the kicking tee on the 22-meter line. And
again, we have a very makeable kick here.
kick is up and it's good. So now we're looking at a score of 17 points to UNB and 8 points to the Trojans. From previous years, seem to be enjoying the fixture. It always helps when your team is ahead, I guess. Nice mauling and rucking techniques there by the UNB, an up and under. Man did not wish to take the ball, I guess. The man was up rather quickly on him. We have a scrummage in favor of UNB a few yards outside of the 22-meter line at St. John's end of the field.
That was a very good gain by UNB.
Thing on the UNB side. A neat little chip ahead by UNB winger, and he's on his man very quickly. The ball is in the bottom of a group of players. It doesn't appear to be coming up. It's coming now.
Oh.
Flaherty has it. Andy Duplessis burst towards the line and is held up, but there is a penalty for offside at the previous ruck.
I think you'll see UNB go for points here. Run for it.
That's a short tap penalty. They take on the strength of the Trojans forwards, and ball comes back nicely. Winger is going for the corner again, and
has
scored a try in the corner. Same gentleman as before, Mr. Kevin Gallant. A nice try, and it's not often that the work moves work that well. On this occasion it worked quite well.
The blind side's working very well for UNB. And this will be a challenging kick, affectionately known as the Bulldog.
Ah, the Bulldog, yes. I do see him. Snow picks at the base of the scrum as immediate man. Willie Scott, the archetypal prop forward. Craggy features, hands on hips. He's waiting for the play to get going again. A little bit of banter ensuing now between the spectators and some of the personalities on the field, many of whom thought they'd never see the Gearbox play rugby again. Jumped and used his outside arm and got away with it there. Another ball against the head, won nicely by UNB. The ball came back, picked up by Snowman to Flaherty, and kick put into the corner by Hitchcock. I'm not quite sure what's happening. A bit of excitement in the far corner. And the referee has called for an offside. The game is over. Not a bad match. Perhaps St. John weren't in as much as I thought they would be, but the final score for UNB former player selects 22, St. John Trojans 8.
Yes, we'll be hearing war stories about this one for years to come, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt. Perhaps repair to the beer paddock now and have a couple of cold beers and get into some discussions about the relative merits of the game, and we might be able to catch up with. Subsequently, had a good day too, and there'll be a few more festivities this evening, but the rugby part on the field is now over, and I think it's time for us to take off.
Sure is. Once again, the final score 22 for the UNB Ironmen Selects and 8 points for the St. John Trojans.
Okay, thanks very much. This is Jim Neville saying goodbye from College Field.
And this is Brent Kay saying goodbye also. See you next time.